I posted about this yesterday, and if you've been watching the show, you know my stance on this. And it seems like slowly people are starting to become more aware of this. People are starting to grow past their Trump derangement syndrome. But I want to mention this morning just in case. And all this talk on this channel, it might go to waste. But I think at the same time, even if one person, two people watching this channel kind of change their mind about not only Trump, but just the whole voting thing, because Bitcoiners have this very closed mind in terms of government. They think that all government is bad and that we shouldn't have any government. I mean, that's kind of an anarchist. But I feel like more Bitcoiners align with that than reality, in a sense. So the post, this is the post that I made yesterday, because this was kind of right after Trump tweeted or posted about Ross Albright and how, if he's elected, he's going to free Ross on day one, which if you're a Bitcoiner, you definitely give a shit about that. But this is the post. I said, there is a difference between small, efficient government and what we have now. Not all government is bad. There is definitely room for a small governing body in a decentralized structure. And nothing is going to completely remove government in our lifetime, not even Bitcoin. So you have two options here for this next month. One side wants to shrink the government, give power back to the people, wants to free Ross Albright, and was literally at the Bitcoin conference this year. That's one side. The other side didn't let their voters decide who their nominee is. They want to control everything that you do and your thoughts, are putting people like Ross Albright in prison, and are literal fucking Marxists. That's your two options. Use your head. It takes zero energy to vote. Even if it is irrelevant, what's the downside of it? It takes zero energy to vote. And to believe that you're making a difference in any way by choosing not to vote is pure insanity. So I'm not budging from that stance. And I don't really, people can say what they want, and I'm still on the side of like voting is the equivalent of an adult writing a letter to Santa Claus. I'm still on that party. But in the meantime, where we are today, we have to be realistic. And there are still people who make decisions, who get to make decisions based on whatever. And there's two sides here. And it's very clear which side is for us and which one is against us. And I think that if you're wasting that vote because you're trying to prove a point, it doesn't make any sense. No one's going to care that you didn't vote. And maybe nobody will care that you did vote. But what's the harm in it? Rob, good morning. Going to spend my morning setting up the Blockstream Jade and Swan wallet. Thanks for the info. Wish me luck. You don't need luck. Just be diligent with it. Be careful. Write things down. Check things twice. You're doing things right. You don't need any luck. Rick's Remakes. Keep up the good work. The God work. 88 sats. Watch most days. Thanks, Rick. I appreciate that. Thanks for being here and thanks for the comment. All right, what do we got going over here on Zap Stream? All right, you know what? We're going to close things off here on YouTube today. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of YouTube. Holy. Jameson Lobb said there's someone trying to consolidate 640,000 UTXOs yesterday. Holy. That's a lot of Bitcoin. That can be. Sats Venture, our buddy from Down Under. Would you like to do an interview again in the next couple weeks? Yeah, man. Anytime. Anytime you want to. Adam, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Yes. James Bond says government is essential, sadly, and yes, the size matters. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, I agree with you. The way that we have government today is pretty much the worst case scenario. Like it seems like half the people in Canada are employed by the government. Like we're in the worst spot possible for what a government should be. And I know recency effect, I know this is what people see, and that's why they have such a negative regard towards the government. But in reality, you need to have a government, and it should be very small. It should be very small. But if you get back to the way it was meant to be in terms of like paper ballots, and the crazy thing is, we now have the ability, we have the tools and the technology to run a fair election using Bitcoin. And I forget which country it was. They actually ran their election using Bitcoin, where if you're a registered voter, you get a code, a PIN, a private key. You can access that. You can vote anonymously, but, or not anonymous. I guess nobody would see your name there. What's that? Pseudonymous? I don't know. You know what I mean? But you can vote there. So you don't have to show that who you're voting for, but you can go and audit for yourself to see that your vote is counting there. We have the ability now. So if in that situation where, we have a small government and we have a fairly elected government, like that's a good thing. And when you have tools like Bitcoin who hold the government accountable, because it's so transparent. If you know the government's Bitcoin address, you can see every sat going in there and every sat leaving that wall. That's how things should be. And we have the ability to do that. So don't take this very closed mind that government, should just disappear, because one, it's not going to. You know that. And two, it is essential, as our buddy James Bond here says, who is, I might say, a cynic in some ways, and probably more of an anarchist than most people, but it is essential.